What are y'all starting to dislike the more and more older you get? Always being tired and getting up in the morning. I really took the amount of sleep I got when I was younger for granted. 6 years ago I made the commitment to myself that no matter what was going on in my world, I would allot myself a full 8 hours a night for sleeping. It took me over a year to finally get it to work, and now I get 7 to 8 hours every night. I'm much happier, and I'd like to believe healthier, for doing so. I try to do this, but some days I feel the need to reclaim the night. Just have hours upon hours of time to myself to do whatever it is I need. I do pay for it in the end, but some nights it's worth it. I agree with this. Work until 5, cook, spend time with my 4-year-old until 7:30, put him to bed, quality time with my wife until 10. She goes to bed. Time for video games until 12 or 1 in the morning because I don't have other opportunities for it anymore. Man, I used to think mornings were optional, like a side quest in a video game I never bothered completing. Hello, folks. As we age, some things just start losing their charm, like that one trendy song you used to jam out to, or waking up early on weekends. So, hit that subscribe button, drop a comment below, and let us know what you're starting to dislike more and more as you get older. Curious minds want to know. Trying to be cool and get attention, especially with people whom I am not close to. Now I just wish to be peaceful. This one for sure. I'm not cool, never have been, never will be, so let me be lame in peace. I think the best realization is that it's only people who are being themselves that are cool. If you are trying to be cool, then you're lame. If you're lame and just embrace it, then you're cool. Agreed. The people I find the coolest are the people who are genuine, kind, authentic, and welcoming. There are way less people like this than you would think/hope, but they are top-notch people when you find them. Well, nowadays I'm less interested in being the life of the party and more interested in being the person who doesn't accidentally say you too when the waiter says enjoy your meal. Loud noise. I crave silence so much. So many people just don't seem like they can operate without noise. Like my wife will always turn on the TV or something around the house for background noise. I hate that. I love nothing more than the sound of silence, but it's so hard to actually get these days. It adds such a mental load that you don't even realize until you're somewhere that is truly quiet. Whenever I visited some place actually rural, the difference is astounding. It's like a weight falling from your brain and you feel so much better. Even if you think you don't notice the sound, your brain does. I really don't get the people who need constant noise. I just can't understand the mindset of people who will blast music at top volume for hour after hour, or the people who can't be without stimulation and so they bring a Bluetooth speaker to the beach or on their hike in the woods. As I get older, I'm starting to dislike loud noise more and more. It's like my eardrums are on a roller coaster ride without my permission. Hangovers. I find the best thing about hangovers is, there is no one else to blame. My GF, 31, was at a party last weekend while I was away and proudly called me to tell me that she didn't even have that bad of a headache the next day. What she didn't account for was how her sleep schedule got derailed from just one night of partying and she was very tired basically half of the following week. Hangovers are like the reverse of Benjamin Button. They make me feel older and regretful instead of younger and wiser. Social media. It's just gotten worse and worse since I was in high school. The internet was cool before the corporations figured out how to better monetize and control it. Exactly. I'm 40, so I lived through the Wild West days of the internet, and I always wondered when they would get a hold of it. I miss the old days of the internet too. My very early days of internet use were the tail end of the Wild West and things were so much more fun and dumb and didn't have to have a point. The things that I find saddest to see the way they are is YouTube, and YouTubers in general, and just the sheer amount of adverts everywhere. Everything is an advert. Everything. So just the monetization of the internet, I guess. I swear, social media is like that distant relative who shows up uninvited to your birthday party, making it all about themselves and hogging the cake. I'm 62. Working has lost its color. I'm 35, but I've never had a time in my life where I liked work. It was always an obligation, a place I had to be at. I assumed this was the norm. I'm pretty sure it is the norm. I'm 35 and I'm so burned out I don't know if I'll be able to work again. I'm starting to feel that given the choice between working literally anywhere, doing literally anything, and just straight up dying, I'm not totally sure which one I'd pick. Edit, to everybody replying that they're in the same boat, I'm so sorry and I love you all. Everything needing an app. Why can't I just use this perfectly fine browser? The worst part is when the app is very blatantly just a wrapper around a website that literally does nothing that would require it to have said app. I was at a restaurant a while back and they took my name and phone number for the wait list. I get a text to go to a website to check my place in line. I went to the website and it said to download the app for the best mobile experience and to see my place in line, there was no other option. When I downloaded the app it wanted me to create an account. That's when I backed out and went back to the website and opened it in desktop mode and it told me my place in line without having to create an account. I left a 1-star review for the app because of that and the developer doubled down by replying that they feel the app is the best experience for mobile users and funnel them to that. No, why don't you let the user decide what experience is best for them? I don't want your goddamn app taking up space on my phone. Man, every time I see someone trying to explain the latest technology fad to me, I feel like a contestant in a spelling bee being told to use a word in a sentence. Fashion. Or trends. The older I get and the more I see trends coming back over and over I realize how dumb it all is. Wear a style that works for you and don't change your whole fucking personality and life because some paid influencer proclaimed thing is now in. I saw influencers hail crop tops as the best thing ever. Making TikToks then they can only be taken from them over their corpse. And then never wear any again. For me it's the fact that it's so youth driven. The older I get the more ridiculous I find it that I'm supposed to change the way I dress just because a fucking teenager has arbitrarily decided they like/dislike something. The whole idea that being young entitles you to dictate what people should wear is just the arrogance of youth. The 5-day work week. Tagging onto this, commuting. We do work too many hours, but at least we get paid. Losing an additional unpaid hour or more of your day is tragic. Commuting is such a waste of time if you're able to do your job from home. I could have gotten an hour of work done already instead of wasting it being stuck in construction-induced traffic, but the owners of the company completely refused to allow it. You could also have had an extra hour in bed, or gone for a heathy walk with that commuting time. I don't do any more hours now, I work at home full time. Geez, I never thought I'd see the day where I'd rather do the Macarena in public than endure another Monday morning meeting. People talking loudly on the phone, like dude, you're next to the mic. Worse is when people, in public, talk loudly on their phone on speaker while holding the phone close to their head. It's just so obnoxious, real I am the main character syndrome. I used to think talking loudly on the phone was a cool way to show off your popularity, but now I realize it's just an audition for a role in a public theater nobody asked for. Work. At this point I'd rather not do it lol. I honestly don't mind working. I like money and working facilitates that. It's work culture that grinds me to dust. Can I just show up, be polite, get paid and not have to be dragged into mandatory fun, overly intrusive icebreakers at meetings and forced interactions with people I really don't like? Perfectly willing to accept that all of this is a me problem, but way too many people substitute work for having a functioning social life. When every company is obsessed with their mission and values. Bruh, your mission is to make money, so is mine. Don't jerk me off about how dedicated you are to excellence and whatever other bullshit. I've realized that the older I get, the more I dislike multitasking. I mean, it's hard enough just focusing on one thing, like breathing and not tripping over my own feet. Gossip. I never enjoyed it, but being around grown adults who speculate to overcompensate for whatever insecurity is insanity. Bang on. I find the environment I work in, railroading, the gossip between grown-ass men is worse than high school drama. I'll never understand excessive gossip. I get it if it's a mutual person you know, but most of the time it's just someone you only know the name of. Like okay? Why should I care? It's like some people just straight up don't have a personality outside of gossip. It's sad. I find this to be true as well as I get older, and I also find it to be a red flag. If someone is gossiping to me about someone else, my first thought is this person is totally gossiping about me. The older I get, the less patience I have for people who are constantly glued to their phones, like they're trying to get a high score in the game of social media popularity. People. In my 20s I thought the old guy living alone in his cabin in the woods on the outskirts of town was a weirdo. Now at 48 I think he might be a genius. I'm 31 and currently live alone in a cabin in the woods on the outskirts of my city/my city's suburbs. I would highly recommend. I too live alone in the bush. It's wonderful. My aunt lives alone and has a bush.